everyone, welcome back to the Lace Up channel. My name's Mickey. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to onboard your warehouse employees. So I keep getting questions from different workers in different warehouses, and it seems that there is a consensus in an issue wherein these employees aren't properly onboarded, not properly trained, not properly empowered to make decisions in the warehouse to make your business better. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 points for how to onboard your warehouse employees. Anyways, let's get right into it. Point number 1, set clear expectations. When you bring on a new hire in your warehouse, setting those expectations is fundamental for their long-term success. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me on this channel telling me, Mickey, my manager didn't tell me what to do. I've got no idea what my process is. Well, that's wherein you have to set these expectations when they join. So I'm going to give you some examples. The first expectation that must be set is performance, whether it be cases per hour or orders per hour or inventory accuracy. You have to tell them exactly what the metrics should be so that they know exactly what metrics they need to hit in order to fulfill the expectation. But not just that. And when onboarding an employee, you need to talk about the cleanliness of the warehouse, the organization of the warehouse, how product is rotated from overstock to picking slots. And more than anything, I think the most important thing is you need to establish a chain of command. There's nothing worse than having multiple managers at a job telling you to do different things. They should all report to a warehouse manager or a person in charge of making decisions in that warehouse. And that's where I think most distributors fail. They don't establish any form of expectations for performance, for how to maintain the warehouse, and for chain of command, and those things are very problematic. So make sure you set clear expectations. Next, you want to foster a positive work environment. Now, I'm not talking about the type of work environment where you have pizza parties and everybody's giving each other high fives and everyone's super happy. No, that's not what I mean whatsoever. When I say a positive work environment, I mean that the employee shouldn't be terrified for their job to come and talk to you, their manager. They should be able to come bring you ideas, to bring you concepts, to make decisions on their own. Now, sure, at this juncture,
I don't want my warehouse staff making
decisions. No, you don't. But you want to give them and instill in them the power to at least be thinking about certain things that are going on in that warehouse that they're seeing every day that could be problematic to your business. And you need to have an open door policy so that they can come in and chat with you. I have received dozens of comments on this channel with people that completely feel neglected by their management team, with people that know what they need to do to fix the problems in the warehouse, but they can't. So when you foster a positive work environment, people feel compelled to come talk to you and to come give you ideas and suggestions for how to make your business better. So I don't think by any means everybody should be fooling around all day in a happy mood when they're working. No, they're here to execute a task. But if they see something wrong and they can bring that to your attention, I believe that that should be an open policy at every business. And if it is, I promise that the people will become better versions of themselves. And you can even incentivize people. That's a good segue into the next point. You have to incentivize. People need to be incentivized to perform better, to make your business more profitable, to ultimately make you more money. And in order to do that, it's quite simple. You need to have baseline metrics in place. And those baseline metrics, again, they equate to cases per hour picked. How simple is that? If you know how many cases per hour your picker should be hitting, then you should be able to set an expectation for what that case per hour number is, and you should be able to incentivize people who hit that case per hour metric every single month. So I think you have to incentivize. You have to incentivize as well on days missed. If they're constantly calling in to work sick, well, you're going to be pissed at them, obviously, but if they understand that their incentive, their bonus, their commission, however you want to pay them, or however you want to set the pay structure, is tied to them showing up to work every single day and performing, then they're going to perform because they know that at the end, they have some kind of payment attached to their performance. But it's not just that. It's not just about cases per hour. It's not just about days missed. It's mostly about inventory accuracy. Those of you that have a WMS, you know that your inventory is as accurate as possible, and you know what the buffer is every month for cycle counts and adjustments going back to your ERP. Well, if you know what that buffer is and what the percentage should be, then I think that you should tell the person and incentivize that to maintain that inventory accuracy percentage. So again, you want to take the number of cycle counts that you have, really the number of adjustments that you have, and divide it by the total amount of inventory positions in your warehouse, and you'll be able to decide or determine exactly what the accuracy should be. So incentivize your people on cases per hour, on showing up to work every day, and on keeping your inventory accurate, and more than anything, incentivize them to bring you good ideas and concepts that can help organize and make your warehouse better. The next thing is establishing a schedule for your employees. What time do they get there? What are their tasks? Now, after having worked with thousands of distributors over the years, I've learned that the most effective distributors, they do their scheduling as follows. In the morning, they do their replenishments. They do their cycle counts. They do anything they need to do the upkeep needed for picking. Now, picking tends to happen later in the morning or in the early afternoon, because for distributors, you want to load out your trucks by the end of the day so that on the following day, your employees can come or your drivers can come, get in the trucks, and go. But in order to establish how many employees you need and how to schedule them, you need to have metrics. You need to have exactly what replenishments are happening. You need to have exactly what cycle counts are taking place. When are our receiving hours? That way you can place the people on a proper schedule to do those tasks to leave the warehouse ready for picking. I can't tell you how many people are receiving, replenishing, and counting while they're trying to pick, and that just creates bottlenecks in the workflow of your warehouse. Remember, in a warehouse you have a path that you need to go in order to be most effective so that your pickers can pick as many cases per hour as possible. Well, if you're constantly obstructing that path with all these other tasks because you're not properly scheduling the employees, well, that's going to create huge bottlenecks in your warehouse and make your people exponentially less productive. So no, there shouldn't be forklifts replenishing product in the afternoon while your people are trying to pick. This is not best practice. Now, you're probably going to say, Mickey, I don't have the space to do this. Well, if you have space constraints, which all of my customers do, at the very minimum, make sure that everything's replenished and clean before you start picking. And then at some juncture in the day, you might shuffle out the pickers and shuffle in your replenishment staff to do those replenishments. You could even do this at lunch while your pickers are out eating. For example, you have all the replenishments for the second portion of the day's pick to be ready to pick. Now, again, schedule is perhaps the most important thing. I recommend 2 shifts, morning shifts for upkeep, afternoon shifts for picking, and that's just in my experience. Now, the last and final point is perhaps the most important. In order to keep your warehouse staff honest, you need to have performance metrics in place, and you need to manage those performance metrics, and you need to speak about those performance metrics with your people. Now, what does this mean? What are the performance metrics? Well, we've touched upon a couple of those in this video. The first performance metric is number of cases per hour. You need to know exactly what the mean number of cases per hour is across all of your employees in a given day. That way you can set a benchmark. You also need to have an inventory accuracy metric. Again, you want to take the number of adjustments divided by the total number of inventory positions, and you want to find out exactly what percentage you're maintaining over time. The next thing you want to do is your cycle count times. How long is it taking your people to cycle count a pallet? Right? How hard can it be to cycle count a pallet? You need to have a metric for that. You need to have a metric for replenishments. How long does it take them to replenish product? And last but not least, and perhaps the most important thing, once you've established and benchmarked these metrics, you need to have daily stand-up meetings. A quick 5-minute meeting to show everyone's performance from yesterday and what they need to do, what steps they need to take to make sure that they hit these performance metrics today. Now, here's what happens at every warehouse. The managers get so busy, the owners of the business are so busy that they forget to do these stand-up meetings and they see the performance wane. Well, it's a lot like a sales team. If you talk to them every day, if you help them close deals, if you sit with them on phone calls, well, inevitably sales go up. The same thing happens here. If you establish these performance metrics, you enforce these performance metrics, and you incentivize your people who hit those performance metrics and supersede those metrics, then I guarantee your warehouse will be exponentially more productive. All of this is pretty much contingent upon having a good warehouse manager. And you might be saying, Mickey, I can't afford a warehouse manager. Well, in my opinion, you can't afford to not have a warehouse manager. Because if you don't have a warehouse manager, your people are exponentially less productive. And not just are they less productive, your inventory is less accurate, and you're losing sales on, let's say, product that's lost, product that's stolen, product that you're not ordering properly because you don't have the proper metrics to know the velocity of a product, you don't have a system to input vendor lead times to know when it's going to get here, so you're losing sales on the back of not having that person. And I'm going to give you a tidbit of information because we've covered all 5 points right now. Your warehouse manager should be focused on managing the staff. You shouldn't have them running around picking orders. That's not what a warehouse manager is for. Their responsibility, at least in my experience, is to make sure that your purchasing is as good as possible, to make sure that your warehouse staff is performing as good as possible, to make sure your inventory is as accurate as possible. That's what the warehouse manager is for. Not for running around doing manual tasks. You can't be a manager and be a picker and be a receiver and put product away and count inventory. That's not what a warehouse manager is for. But I guarantee, at $40,000 or $50,000, let's say you're a $10 million a year business, I guarantee that if you put that person in place, they're going to make your sales go up organically. And you're probably like, Mickey, well, sales require a sales rep. No. Yes, I mean, obviously they require a sales rep, but the most important aspect of sales in a distribution business is having the right inventory levels. Because if you have inventory, you can fulfill orders, and if you can fulfill orders, you generate sales. So again, warehouse management or warehouse manager is critical to this whole thing, to making sure that these 5 points are put into play. Anyways, guys, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there. If I did, I'm sorry, but go down below, give me your thoughts, give me your experience, and give me your comments. I'd love to hear them. Also, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care.